Imagine a world where theater is illegal. Actors whisper their lines in dim taverns. Keep your voice low. They must not hear us. Playwrights hide their scripts like forbidden texts. This script must survive, no matter what. And audiences gather in secrecy, miles away from the city. This was England before 1660, a time when drama itself was under suspicion. But then, suddenly, the curtain rises again. The king returns. The stage awakens. Bravo! Encore! And theater explodes into life with boldness, wit, and even scandal. Welcome to the world of Restoration and 18th century drama. Before 1660, England was under Puritan rule, a regime that saw theatre as morally dangerous. Theatres were closed during the Commonwealth period. No performances allowed. Yet performances survived secretly in taverns and private houses.
Quick, start before anyone notices.
Short plays called drolls became popular, disguised as musical entertainments. It's just music, nothing more. As scholars note, dramatists kept theatre alive underground, working in secrecy. But everything changed in 1660. When King Charles II returned from exile in France,
The king has returned.
the people celebrated his return, chanting with joy. He brought with him a taste for French theatre, rich, elegant, and visually appealing.
Magnificent, such beauty on stage.
He issued 2 royal patents to playwrights. Drama moved from secrecy to public celebration. A journey from suppression to revival. This is how Restoration drama begins. With the Restoration, theatre didn't just return, it transformed. Creativity flourished after years of suppression. For the first time, professional female actresses appeared on stage.
At last, I can perform before the world.
Plays reflected the aristocratic lifestyle of Charles II's court. Pleasure and wit define our world. These plays portrayed promiscuous rakes, libertine aristocrats, and a pleasure-driven society. Love is a game, and I always win. The tone was bold, suggestive, sometimes even shockingly vulgar. Scandalous, but entertaining. But audiences loved it.
More!
During the Commonwealth, theatre was private and restricted. Playwright William Davenant performed secretly in his own home. Quiet. This performance must remain hidden. After the Restoration, Davenant brought performances back to real theatres. Stages now included proscenium arches and wing and shutter scenery. This allowed theatre to control visual storytelling in entirely new ways. A new theatrical spirit and a revolution in how stories were performed. The Restoration stage became a space of visual spectacle. Inigo Jones introduced moving scenery and the proscenium arch. Scenes could now change dynamically, creating immersive storytelling. The proscenium arch framed the action like a living painting. John Webb carried these innovations into the Restoration era. Now, theatre was not just heard, it was seen, experienced, and felt. Restoration dramatists didn't just create new plays, they reimagined old ones. Shakespeare's plays were rewritten and adapted for new audiences. This is Hamlet, but not as you've seen before. Leonard Macduff. They were turned into semi-operas with music, dance, and spectacle.
Let the story be sung!
Special effects enhanced the emotional and visual impact. Davenant reshaped Shakespeare to suit the tastes of his time. These adaptations reflected the evolving preferences of Restoration society. One of the most groundbreaking changes, women began acting on stage. Before this, Female roles were performed by men. Now, actresses brought authenticity to performance.
At last, the stage reflects reality.
Theatre embraced more open and suggestive themes. This matched the audience's appetite for bold and provocative drama.
We want more of this!
Unlike earlier drama, Restoration theatre clearly separated tragedy and comedy. Heroic tragedy focused on noble and admirable heroes. These tragedies followed strict neoclassical rules and often imitated earlier works. Comedy, however, took multiple vibrant forms. Comedy of humor focused on a single dominant personality trait. This type originated from earlier traditions shaped by Ben Jonson. The most popular form, comedy of manners, satirized elite society. It featured witty, often vulgar and suggestive dialogue. The comedy of intrigue revolved around complex plots of love, deception, and adventure. A period of bold change, reshaping both performance and dramatic form. Let us now explore the major playwrights who shaped Restoration drama. William Congreve, famous for The Old Bachelor and his sharp, bold comedies. He coined one of the most famous lines in English drama. Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. His later work, The Way of the World, attempted to revive classic Restoration comedy. George Farquhar is known for his lively and engaging comedies. The Recruiting Officer and The Beau Stratagem. His style combined witty dialogue, a light tone, and roguish characters. William Wycherley gained fame with The Country Wife. His work featured bold humor, sexual innuendo, and fast-paced plots. Though popular then, his work can feel controversial to modern audiences. Two major theatre companies dominated the Restoration stage. The Duke's Company, founded by William Davenant. The King's Company, founded by Thomas Killigrew. Both theatres were designed by Sir Christopher Wren, combining architecture with theatrical innovation. These playwrights and theatres defined the energy and identity of Restoration drama. Restoration theatre introduced remarkable stage and architectural advancements. Elaborate stage machinery made performances more dynamic. Transformation scenes allowed rapid visual changes. The proscenium stage design framed the performance like a picture. The Duke's Theatre stood along the Thames. Audiences could even arrive by boat, enhancing the theatrical experience. It featured advanced scenic design, bringing depth and realism to the stage. The stage was evolving into what we now recognize as modern theatre. But this golden age did not last. Moral backlash began to rise against Restoration drama. In 1698, Jeremy Collier challenged the theatre. He criticized vulgar content, misuse of religion, and attacks on clergy. In 698, he wrote, "A short view of the immorality and profaneness of the English stage." This led to fines on actors and pressure on playwrights. "We are being silenced again!" A growing tension emerged between artistic freedom and moral expectations. Yet dramatists responded not with reform, but with sharper satire and ridicule. What does Restoration drama teach us? It is a reflection of power, a response to restriction, and a mirror of society's desires. From secrecy to spectacle, from silence to satire, art always finds a way to speak. If you enjoyed this journey into literary history, like, share, and subscribe.